Hello and welcome to SuperCoach Edge for the round 12 review and round 13 preview. Well, we survived. It was the first of 4 bye weeks and it came and went without much carnage, thankfully. It would seem though, looking back, it should be labelled the bargain buys of the buyers. For those that opted to future-proof their side's cash generation in the form of Ford and, most notably, Briggs, came away singing, "Oh, happy day," with a big pot of gold at the end of the buy rainbow, with the latter scoring a juicy 128 and increasing 86K.
It was very juicy. I don't know if we'd say we'd all survived because I don't know if I did, but we'll touch on that later. Best of all, he goes into this week, this is Briggs, of course, with a break-even of -32 and is projected to make an extra 94K over the next 2 weeks heading into his round 15 buy. So he is going to increase potentially, totally, 180K in just 3 weeks. Oof, juice, pure juice. And that coin will no doubt come in handy for the last remaining upgrades across the buys, and especially for those that are looking to bring in the pink sweaty pig, Clary Oliver, back into their sides, much like us. Been missing that pig juice.
Oh, it's something nothing has quenched my thirst quite like the pig juice.
Is it greasy? Is it greasy?
It's just what I imagine, like when you're just cooking bacon and like just pouring it into like a glass, like pig juice. But no, it's juicier than that. It is juicier than that. But yes, speaking of being able to afford to bring that man or that beast, that being back into our teams, I thought I may have had to be a penny pincher. It reminds me of the Macca's ad. Like, oh, penny pincher menu. Well, that's virtually what I thought I'd have to be buying from, or virtually the end of day SuperCoach specials in order to afford. I
always think of it as like Homer Simpson when he squeezes the penny and goes into it, like goes up his arm.
Let's start with mega secret number 1. You gotta squeeze every penny. You see that fancy yacht? A bargain, because it smells like cat pee.
I'm squeezing it. Hey, I squeezed so hard it went into my hand.
Oh, Homer, not again.
Oh, that's virtually like, what I thought I'd need to be like, but without the actual coin going through my skin and up my arm. Or just like, hounding, restaurants and stuff. And, where's the end of day specials? Like end of day SuperCoach specials. I thought I might have to settle for that. But alas, I think I'm going to be quite fine now with the likes of Briggs and whatnot in the side. And I think it's going to end up a nice little bonus after courtesy, I think, of that guy. I want to call him the pig's understudy, Kieran Brigglet, the piglet, as he shall now be dubbed. He's going to help us. He's going to, I don't know, he's going to take us on a journey. There's like an oasis we see in the distance, and it's Clary, it's pig on his 4 trotters. He's looking fit. He's got that juicy hiney that I just want to take a bite into and extract the pig juice, like Jonas Goat mentions on YouTube in the comments. I dream of the day, and it could be happening in 2 weeks' time. Nay, it will be happening. Let's manifest it, Liam.
Let's manifest it. I'm believing.
Yeah, but until then, we actually have another buy ahead of us, so we can dream until then. And of course, if you're not following us on socials where we post the latest news, post-match SuperCoach scores, and the odd meme or two, you can do so via Twitter, which is at SuperCoach_Edge. You can find myself at DamoJ88. You can find yourself, Liam, at LiamEvans_95, and Facebook, Insta, TikTok, every other platform that we're on, which we inevitably will be at some stage. Just search SuperCoach Edge and you'll find us there.
Let's kick off with our usual recap in the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, if you're new to the show, I mean, I don't know, you should go back and listen to some of our past episodes. Just get some good vibes some good vibes about
See
what's
what we're all
happened in the
about.
past. Yeah, see what we're all about. The pig juice will make more sense. if
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
back.
Yeah, we're not just literally like talking about drinking juice from
Yeah,
hogs and from pigs
yeah.
and
No,
clary.
no, there's context. There is context.
There's context, and you can see that our insanity isn't just confined to this one episode. It's
No, it's across
wide
many.
ranging. Yep.
Yeah. But if you are new to the show and you don't want to, trek back, well, you're welcome. But this segment is called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and we roll through some of the more notable and the more forgettable performances across the round, and we touch on how our own teams performed in our head-to-head rivalry as we wrestle for the ultimate supremacy. Now, Damon, do you want to talk about the good?
Yes, the good. I like the good. Well, it is, in this case, Kieran Briggs, the Brigglet. As we mentioned from the top, the Brigglet surpassed all expectations as by cover. Jesus, it just rolls
It does, actually, doesn't it?
Just the Brigglet. I was actually thinking on the drive home today from my gig, I was like, well, we have to work like Briggs in a creative way, like into the title of like the podcast, because he is the star of the week, star of the round for us anyway, and for most people that jumped on him. But I was like, what is it? He's a pig. It's the Brigglet. It has to be. He's like the understudy. He's not quite the pink sweaty pig, being Clary. He's a little winklet, little Brigglet. Yeah. So he was a super tasty 128 that he delivered. So nice of him to do so. So there you go, Brigglet. You're in the good. Hopefully you can continue that for weeks to come.
Yes. Now onto the bad, and we've got this is rough, but it's Stephen Caniglio. It's not actually rough because he's not been doing too well with his scoring, but he punched out and won an 89, just an 89, which is starting to be a score around the mark of his floor. He is the Jekyll and Hyde of SuperCoach, and it is very frustrating as an owner. But at least I guess could be comforted by the fact that he is owned by so many people.
That's very true. Very true. But I must say, Liam, that you must feel bad for him because you actually gifted him an extra 8 points. He said he was 89. He's only 81.
Oh, 81, sorry. Yes.
Yes. But that's nice of you to do that, though. But don't...
Just going to increase all of my plays just a little
bit. Don't go into bat for him because he's starting to annoy me. Much like this next guy who's in the ugly for some people. Not so much me. I'm willing to have the faith, stick with him for a little bit, even though he's getting on in age. But in this case, it is the ugly Jack Zeeble. So he had a season worst performance with a 59 and multiple turnovers that kept his score low. And the two out on the falls, Liam, which you would have seen live at the Dons Roos game, in clutch moments of quarter 4 against the Dons were among the lowlights, and really just, I guess, highlight how shit he was.
It was. I mean, I've watched him live twice this year at the Sydney game, and then at the Dons game, and neither time did I actually think he played particularly well. Yeah, bit of a weird one, but yeah, very. I mean, I have to say I was pretty happy with his 2 out of the falls, personally. But
yes,
I can't imagine it would have been pretty bad if I was an owner as well. Would have been conflicted about how I felt about that one. But do you want to jump into your team, Damon? Let us know how you went.
Yes. Well, actually, just on Jay-Z, you did mention, and you made a very good point there that you saw him live, and I did as well because we're both at that game together against the Swans. But since then, I reckon we might have put the moz in him because he scored at 88, 71, and 59.
Oofed.
Geez, what next? Is he going to be in the low 40s, 30s? Geez, you better not be. You're on notice, Jay-Z. Anyway, let's move into how my team went for the week. So I ended up scoring 1,906. So I came out of the bye week 1 relatively happy, and I ended up climbing the ranks 140 spots to now sit ranked 1,573rd overall. So it wasn't a big climb, as big as I'd hoped, but the main aim post-buys is, of course, cracking the 1K mark. So we're on track. We're on track indeed. And I went to the week with 19 players, but that was cut to 18 with Seamus Mitchell missing due to illness. But for the VC, I whacked it on Dacos the Seagull, whose 123 I opted to lock in ahead of my captaincy options in Merritt, Bont, and Laird. So it wasn't too bad there. I think he scored an extra 12 or so points more than Bont and Laird. And Merritt, I think he lost about 14 points or thereabouts in the end. So swings and roundabouts. All good. In terms of the trades, I ended up investing in kickstarting some handy cash generation via the Brigglet and Ford via Simpson and Ryan, whilst I had a huge win trading out the injured Ho-da-da for English. And I now know what it feels like as an owner with English with such high scores, huge scores. Really, it was
huge.
It was incredible. It was nice to see. It was actually his highest score of the season as well, which was handy. Heading into this week, I am in a good spot with a full team to choose from, as most people will be, of course, with only Geelong and Gold Coast having the bye this week, and with Stewart really being the only one I am missing, and of course Constable. He's there for moral support. Heading into this week, I will be investing the $270K in my bank to upgrade Wilmot to Neil, meaning I now have 2 rookies to upgrade to complete my team. And one of those spots, of course, is reserved for that man we spoke of before in the pink, sweaty pig. But as always, for a more comprehensive look into my team as it stands, it's very much Hannibal Lecter, that wasn't it?
Yeah, that was something else.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Anyway, so as always, for more comprehensive into my teams as it stands, it puts the lotion on the skin.
Or else it gets the hose again.
Clary. So to check out my strategies and trades I'm looking at for next week and beyond and how I'm planning across the buys, feel free to check out Damo's Team Talk mini episodes, which can only be found on our YouTube page as an exclusive bit of content. And, but just tune into the weekly content and you get that sort of juice, pig juice. What about yourself?
Is that what you get?
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of a treat. What about you, Liam? How'd you go?
I didn't go as well. I scored, although actually there's something nice about having a round number as your score, 1,700 on the dot.
Oh,
I don't know why. I mean, I don't like it because it was a shit score.
It's comforting though.
It's nice seeing it just at the absolute.
It's clean.
It's clean. It feels nice. But it shouldn't because I went down 3,750 spots. But I'm still ranked 11,182nd overall, which I'm pretty happy with considering where I was a few weeks ago. So it was a subpar score of 1,700, which did see me slide down the rankings a little bit, but I did so playing with just the 17 players. Did choose to gobble up a donut rather than deviate from the trading strategy when Seamus Mitchell was named as a late out, or not really a late out, but after team sheets, I guess.
Yep.
In terms of trades, I did choose to kick Darcy out, unfortunately, with that hamstring issue. I shouldn't laugh about someone getting a hamstring issue, but just, again, didn't realize he had hamstrings.
We still have no idea how he actually got it. I haven't seen any vision. There's no clip up. I reckon it was when he was walking, surely. But doing a hamstring when you're walking. My Lord.
Oh, my God.
The fitness of the man.
Yeah, anyway. And I also culled, I guess, the deadwood in terms of dead rookie of Matty Roberts, I think his name is. And I brought in the Brigglet himself and Eddie Ford for some cash generation. Did mean I'd managed to save a trade this week, only using the 2, which hopefully will help me in the back end of the season. And it leaves me with Weddle, Mitchell, and Ashcroft ripe for the picking this week. And I have Samson Ryan as well. And I still have Briggs, Ford, and Wardlaw continuing to make me some juicy cash, which is nice. And I think I've unlocked the secret to not having subpar trade-in scores, and it's just don't trade in any primos. Briggs, mid-pricer.
True.
Eddie Ford. So that's it. Just got to go mid-pricers for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, David, I'm looking at bringing in Neil, so expect a shit one on the weekend. But let's see. Maybe it'll counteract. Like the fact that you're trading him in will give me good luck.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm hoping for my sake that's the case. That's the case.
For my sake it's the case.
I really did enjoy that. How you're like, it's maybe it's only confined to mid prices, like the good news. And you're like, but I'm going to offset that good news by saying that I'm bringing in Neil and ruining your hopes and dreams.
Yeah, so I'm warning everyone in advance. So everyone, get off him. Get off him. Don't trade him in. It's not looking good. That being said, with the 2 downgrades last round, I have a bulk bank waiting to be unloaded with over 500K burning a hole in my pocket in the bank this week. So Maybe I'll hold. Maybe I'll leave that money in the bank and I'll hold it for the rest of the year and just take it out at the end and say thank you.
What are you
Thank
going to
very
do?
much.
Are you just going to just hide under your mattress?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just
I'll
don't
just
go
say,
to the bank because don't
can I-
trust them.
Yeah, no. Can I take it into next year, like the extra 500K?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Imagine that.
Like bank the salary cap. Just anyway. Yeah, so that's
Invest
it.
in
That's my
stocks.
round. Yeah, invest.
Actually, what you can do is you can invest in stocks of pig juice. That's the next big thing. There's
Yeah,
Bitcoin, then there's pig juice. That's going to be going to the moon.
We should get some pig juice out there.
We should.
Alongside the crystal ball. Anyway, do you want to look at our head-to-head, Damon? You've got the wood this week again. You've taken that in lat lead out yet again. I'll leave that to you. And what's the differential, Damon?
Yeah, so increased. You came ever so close, Liam, and I'm gonna stick with the fact that I was within my powers. I let you come so close, and then I could just pull away.
Yeah.
Yes, that's all that. But yeah, anyway, his lead has increased from 340 to 546. So I mean, you can come back again in 1 week. It is the buy period after all. So as you saw,
struggle.
I've gone up an extra couple of 100 points. You could easily work them back and you get me. Round 15, I reckon, is the week you're going to get me.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think I've got about 3 players actually playing. But
I was about to say 1. So there you go. You got 2 extra players.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Woo! Anyway, I reckon it's time to jump into our limited time segment, our limited edition segment, because it's only here for a limited time only. It's like one of those little promo pieces you see at Macca's, their birthday lattes, all that sort of stuff. Well, this is it. This is the equivalent. Maybe I don't know how, but it is the next segment. It is. So it is a short segment this week with only Geelong and Gold Coast having the bye this week. In terms of impact on the more highest owned players for the Cats, they are Stuart Radaglia. Just for you, Liam. I didn't mean in there. But no, he's actually the second most owned Geelong player, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, I
suppose
who else? For a gag.
Yeah, who else would be there, I guess? Yeah, makes sense.
Cameron and Mullen.
Yeah.
So that kind of like the fact that Mullen is like the 4th highest owned.
Says that there's not many.
Says a lot.
Mm.
What about for Gold Coast?
Get Jed Buse in.
That's a pointed comment. That's someone that we know that traded him in last year.
Oh, anyway.
What would you?
Sorry, that was. Sorry, JP.
Yeah.
For Gold Coast, we have Ratkins, Humphrey, Witts, Anderson, and Rao. And the forgotten man. Forgotten by no one that actually, I don't think he's actually been forgotten because everyone every week is like,
everyone's hoping
he is coming in. And it was like, did you see Gold Coast? It's obviously Constable. But did you see Gold Coast made a post being like the news you've been waiting for, and everyone was like,
really?
Constable is in. Like,
but
it was Bailey Humphries signed like a 4-year deal or a 2-year deal or something.
I don't
but
care
was
about
like,
that.
It's
bloke.
Constable. He's being named.
Imagine that. Like
they did this whole preview video, and we're like, yeah, this is all just about Constable.
it's preview video, like the debutante videos, how they call up their parents, and it's Humphrey on the phone, like on the phone to Constable. Mate, you're in this week. Yeah. I don't know why Humphrey would be doing it, not the head coach. That's Stewie Jew.
No, just
to fool everyone.
But the absolute
just uncomfortable.
Disregard.
Yeah.
That Stewie Jew is holding him in.
Yeah. And did you see someone had a vicious rumor on Twitter? I'm not going to name the bloke's name, but I saw Tim Mitchell. He saw it as well, and he tweeted it. I saw Tim Mitchell, and I was like, all right, we might as well run with it as well. I said potentially could be an inclusion. And this bloke on Twitter led everyone down the garden path and said that Atkins had been training in the purple bib for like the seconds team, and Constable was training with the first team, like
I saw that,
first choice players. And he was going for clout, and apparently he had he's got a track record of doing it. And someone called him out, and he got blocked by this guy. So that dude, if you tune into our podcast, you're an idiot. I could go harder, but I'll just say you're an idiot, mate. and we're not going to believe anything you say anymore. As
Yeah,
they say,
that's the
fool me
problem. I
once.
don't get why people do it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apologies, because I must have been, I made the tweet, I put it up on our Facebook, and I said there's been rumors. So I was still suspect because I've been fooled before. But yeah, unfortunately, these are the things we have to contend with.
When you report fake news, you are the enemy of the people. Go ahead.
Let's ignore the rumors and let's look at some hold card facts and some
fake news.
Some fake, yes, plenty of fake news going around. With some juicy prospects to eye off, and the players to cash in this week in The Price Is Right.
Right.
Show me the money.
Does that make you feel good just to say that? What you gonna do, Jerry? Show me the money!
And again, if you're tuning in for the first time, what are you doing? What are you doing with your time? Come on.
Yeah, make it a second time. Make it a third time, in fact.
Yeah. Yes. Make it go back in time. Listen to the podcast 3 weeks ago.
I mean, from here on out. But yes, if you do have a time machine handy, a DeLorean, maybe.
Or just listen to this podcast, this episode 3 times in a row, just so you're across it.
Yeah.
But anyway, The Price Is Right. We discuss potential trade-ins, the trade targets that you should be looking for from week to week, and we even discuss whether certain players should even be traded or at all. But let's kick off with going, gone, Damon.
Yeah, so let's kick it off with a man that we floated potentially may have been on the outer, and it was due to the fact that he was sub last or the round prior to the weekend in round 11, of course. And it is Rory Ratkins, defender midfielder. He's priced at 313.6k, averaging a 70.2 with a break even of 83. But thankfully for owners, he kept his spot after it looked shaky heading into round 12, being a healthy sub the round prior, and scored a 72 after a slow start. So all signs were actually looking pretty bad early on the weekend. And for, I don't know how, but he eked out a 72. So well done to him. But with Gold Coast on the bye this round and a Weller return potentially on the cards coming out of the bye, don't be surprised to see Atkins make way. Either way, though, he's made a handy 100k profit to this point. So probably a good time to cash him in as a bit of a stepping stone to a genuine keeper.
Yes. And next up on the list, we have Oscar Baker. If you haven't already traded him in, he is mid-eligible, 306.1k, averaging 59.1 with a break-even of 59. And he has the round 15 bye. He scored just 41 on the weekend. And with his break-even now on par with his average, all indications are that his cash generation has hit its peak. If you are struggling for players, though, in round 14, you could potentially opt to hold him and trade him on his round 15 bye. But otherwise, it is time to use him as a stepping stone to a genuine keeper.
Yep, spot on indeed. Next up, we have Jordan De Goey, midfielder, priced at 537.3k, averaging a 103 and a break-even of 102. But that isn't really the reason why we've listed him here, and it's probably obvious why. He's got around 14 bye. No, it's not that. It is the fact that he's going to miss upwards of 3 weeks, you'd think, at minimum. With his bump that left Elijah Hewitt concussed, being referred straight to the tribunal. Unfortunately, this makes him an instant trade for those owners. And I know, Liam, that you potentially floated him as an outside potential suspect as a bit of a trade. And I thought it's not bad, because I jokingly labeled him like the diamond in the rough during the preseason, and he was turning it on a few weeks ago. But for those owners, because he was a pod virtually who jumped on him, they're going to have to jump right up back off him again.
Yep, that's unfortunate for owners there. You'd expect 3 weeks plus the bye, so 4 weeks in the next couple of rounds at least. Potentially, 4 weeks suspended as well. We'll wait and to get you the news as it comes out. But either way, I'd say it's time to trade him off. Yep. Now let's move on to the chopping block, and these are guys that you can hold, you can trade. It really depends on your situation. And we'll kick off with Jack Zeeble, who we spoke about, who is selectable as a defender and as a forward, 517.6k, averaging 101.9 with a break-even of 172 and a round 15 bye. So he's got the bad bye, for want of a better term. Yeah. He had a day to forget against the Dons, which I can attest to, with a season low score of 59. which was riddled with turnovers, errors, most notably 2 out on the full kicks late in the game, one of which was from a kick in. He kicked, it was just, I think I watched it and I was like, what are you doing, mate? And I'm like, not even, like, it helped my side. And I was like, what are you doing though? Like, seriously, how do you manage that? Like, it just, anyway.
It's because he had some money on the Dons.
Oh, must have.
I jest.
Helping Stevenson.
Yeah, got some tips off Stevenson. How to bet on your own team and ship performance.
This is purely a joke. Pleasingly stayed in defense despite Hall bustling 4 points back there. Also, I don't think had a particularly great game. And if it weren't for his errors, though, would have scored similar to the previous 2 weeks around the 75 to 80 mark. But is that enough to justify a spot in your finishing team, particularly given his 3-round average has now slid to 72.7? And as we touched on earlier, it's got, progressively worse week on week. So a little bit of concern there. Does face the Giants, though, with a mammoth 172 break even and a projected loss of 33K. I think, though, he's probably not a must trade. And that's why we've got him in this part of this episode. And it's probably really, for want of a better term, it's almost a luxury trade there.
Yeah.
Like, I know I don't think he started as he was a mid-pricer when most people probably traded him in. But yeah, I'd be looking to hold him if I had him, because I don't have trades to spare.
And I am very much in the same boat. And like Zeeble, this next guy, he's a teammate, youngster, first year player, absolute gun. Harry Sheasel is also in the gun for some people for a similar reason. Defender forward, priced at 464.2K, averaging a 96.7 with a break even of 119. Obviously shares the same by round 15 there. But after scores of 100 plus in all but one game in his first 8 games, over the past 4 weeks, he has only scored a ton in one of those games. The main culprit is caretaker coach Brett Ratton, who's thrown him around multiple positions, meaning less time in the position in defense, where he has scored his bulk points. This uncertainty in his role will have many reconsidering whether he can be classified as a genuine keeper or if they should move him on. And yeah, that's very similar to what you were saying off the back of Jay-Z. That's, again, probably more of a luxury trade at this point in the season. I think, if you went early in terms of upgrades like myself, you're probably down to about 9-10 trades at this point in the season. And you've maybe got 2 to 3 rookies still on field. And I always go back to the point where I'd love to move on, probably Jay-Z ahead of Sheasel. But can you afford to trade on these guys while still having rookies on field, punching out those scores, and especially if they're rookies that aren't reliable scorers and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's more of a luxury trade later. A few, maybe 4 weeks from now or thereabouts, coming out of the buys to see if you've dodged some injuries and you've got excess trades, then only then would I be doing it. But yeah, something to think about.
Yeah, I think we've seen they've still got the ability to score well. I mean, he missed a late goal, at least missed a late shot at goal that would have got him bulk points just purely because it was, sort of
close game.
Would have helped him there. And probably would have, got him probably up to at least 80, 90 maybe. And you'd probably be talking very differently about him if that was the case. So I don't think he's a must trade again, and definitely a bit of a luxury at this stage. Moving on, let's talk about the players to get in. This is fun. Get them in. Yeah. And first off the list is, we've already highlighted, is Lachie Neale, mid-eligible, 577.5K, averaging 110 with a break-even of 86. And he has had his bye, thankfully. Whilst his skilling, though, is nowhere near what he has had in previous seasons, only 4 of his 11 are 120-plus scores. It's his high floor that still appeals, with only 3 scores below 100, with one of those being a marginal 95. He has a 3-round average of 119.7, which would indicate his form has turned. And at 98.7K below his starting price, he is extreme value. He's just, an easy one to jump on, knowing he will be available across the remaining bye weeks, having had the bye last round. So it will mean that he is, playing each week. Faces the Hawks as well, who give up the second most points to opposition inside mids. So if you're keen on Neale, this is the week to jump on, and maybe even a sneaky VC or C option for you.
Absolutely. That's even more of a bonus. It's fantastic.
Don't do it because Lamb will bring him in.
As am I. And you're going to ruin my dreams, hopes and dreams. But yes, a very, very juicy, tasty option there. Another good option to look at is Andy Brayshaw, midfielder, priced at 581.1k, averaging a 103.3 with a break-even of 78. Of course, has had his bye, but has had an up and down season with 6 of 11 games being scores below 100. However, in his past 4 games, his form has started to turn, much like Neil, with scores of 149, 88, 134, and 127. But his high fluctuations are something he was struggling with last season, with 10 of his 22 games being scores below 100. So that lack of scoring floor can really be a worry as an owner. And as I well know back in 2022 when I did own him, but conversely, he had 8 scores, 125 plus last season. So the takeaways here are that whilst he can score well in terms of his ceiling scores, his higher scores, his lack of floor or the minimum scores are the big issue here. So that sort of deviation in his scores, like, I guess Neil, he's probably the one comparison where Neil's had a very, very high floor, as you said, and Brayshaw hasn't. So I guess if you're happy to ride the wave of scoring with Brayshaw, he presents as an option, no doubt. But if you're going for if you're in cash leagues and you're more reliant upon your head-to-head weekly matchups, then I'd probably look elsewhere and look firmly in the direction of Neil.
I think also, though, looking at that, Neil and Brayshaw, Neil's cheaper. I know it's only 4K ish, but like every $1,000 counts at this stage.
Yeah.
So I think if you're going to choose between those two, I'd be going Neil. His average is better for the season. His floor is better. The only difference, I guess, is potentially the ceiling. For Brayshaw seems a little better.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't know. I think I'd prefer to go for Neil at this stage. But let's move on to someone else. Brayshaw's teammate, in fact, Caleb Sarong, selectable as a midfielder, 610.2k, averaging 114.1 and a break-even of 127, and obviously has also had his bye. He has been a breakout for Freo in SuperCoach terms, and is averaging the most CBAs with 80% across the season to date. He's increased 111.4k already on his starting price and only dropped below 100 twice for the season. Such is his high floor and his consistency, with low variation in his scoring more appealing than the likes of Brayshaw, for instance. He also has had 4 130 plus scores, so has a very solid scoring ceiling as well. You could obviously opt to wait, given he does have that high break even of 127, but he does face Richmond, who have been known to give up solid scores to opposition mids in recent weeks. So it could be one to jump on, one that I am considering as well.
Yeah, if he was a little bit cheaper, I just wish he was around about the price of Neil, and I would probably go for Sarong over Neil. And I know you were looking at him earlier in the year as well, Liam. And at that stage, I mean, he was a breakout contender, so there's no guarantee that he was going to continue on with it. Yeah, like he
should have jumped
he's
on.
someone on reflection I would have loved to have gone on as well. Next up, we have Darcy Cameron as a ruck forward, priced at 458.8k, averaging a 96 with a break-even of 81. Has the round 14 bye, of course, and has scored 61 and 81 in managed minutes in his first 2 games back from injury, and enjoyed 105 from a full game on the weekend. Pleasantly, in terms of role, in all 3 games since returning, he has immediately been given the lion's share of the ruck with 59%, 88%, and 69% ruck time. He does face the D's this weekend and a formidable ruck duo in Gaundy, so could potentially wait until after his round 14 bye, because if you get him in this week, that means you've got him for the 1 week, then he has the bye. So keep that in mind. Break even is obviously gettable because it is below his average and his recent score obviously on the weekend. But yeah, something to weigh up, I think, and a nice option, I think, for those. I've seen some people say that it's a nice way of sort of switching out Zeeble to someone around about a similar price point. So I don't mind that. But I just wish I had the trades because I'd probably consider it. I don't mind that.
Yeah, I don't mind that actually.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got Madden as your R3 because you can swing him forward, swing him to the rucks if you need as well.
Yeah.
Later on in the season as some cover. I don't mind that. I do rate it. I'm always wary of getting a player in before they buy though. The week before as well, because you're going to get them. I know I did it with Sinclair, but you get them in and then the next week they miss. So it's a little bit not a nice feeling, but
especially around 14, which is sort of
a
hard week for some people.
Yeah. So I'd potentially look to get him in after the bye, but no issue if you do have good cover that week, get him in early. Moving on to another midfield option, and it is Rory Laird, 613k, averaging 111.8 with a break even of 130, and he also has the round 14 bye. He is 90k lower than his starting price, so is huge value. He's averaging close to 8 tackles a game, and it is this recurring stat line from week to week that builds the very solid scoring foundation that we've seen, only dropping below 100 twice, 97 against Freo and 98 against the Saints in recent weeks. We'd recommend waiting if you can, so you don't have to cop his round 14 bye, especially with that 130 break even. But if you do trade him in, but he faces West Coast Eagles. Of course he does. At Adelaide Oval this week. So, 200 coming up. So it could be ample points up for grabs, but only grab him if he doesn't disrupt your buy coverage in round 14. Bloody hell.
Yeah, it's definitely one to look at.
What a bad week.
It's hard as well because again, you got to weigh up. Do you go for someone because they've got a really nice matchup coming up, but then they're going straight into their buy. Like if it affects your round 14 buy, and like what's his break even? 130.
Even if he scored one, yeah. Like I can't see him. I know I said 200, but let's be realistic. He's probably scoring. If he scores 130, he's not going to go up much. Like he won't go up at all, really.
Yeah,
it's a hard one.
Yeah. No, well, it's a good position to be in it either way. I think whether or not you get him this week or out of his buy, he's definitely a must-have. So just maybe work in with calculations as to how it affects your round 14 buy and just assess from there. Either way, pick him up where you can. Moving on to the next candidate, and it is the English breakfast, Tim English. Ruck, of course, 607.5k, averaging a 125.7 with a break even of 93, and he has the round 15 bye. So he smashed his 118 break even on the weekend by scoring a 156 and went up 15.4k, providing instant results for those Darcy owners who flipped him for just 24.7k difference. We highlighted last week how he presented as huge value at present, highlighted by the fact he was the highest scoring ruckman by a margin of 137 points, yet was priced as the fourth highest below Marshall, Goldstein, and Witts. And whilst that value has all but evaporated, he's still the second highest in price behind Marshall, despite averaging a 125.7 versus Marshall's 110.5. So he should be priced much, much higher. The 15 points, 15.2 more in average compared to Marshall, and he's not even priced higher than him. So considering that, he is still quite good at value. He does face Port this week, who give up the fourth most points to opposition ruckman. So one to target bringing in, provided he doesn't, of course, throw out your round 15 bye.
It's funny how it just shows the quirks of like pricing and scores, and how 15.2 points on average doesn't make you that much more expensive. But anyway, interesting. Moving on to a defender. Guy we've spoken about it for a couple of weeks, Jordan Ridley, 475.7k, averaging 89.5 with a break even of 45, and he has the round 14 bye. So since his return from injury, he has gone up. So he has gone 122, 130, and 102. His ownership grew from 4% to 7% last week. and he has gone up 47K on the weekend. So most of his value is now gone. Still presents as a cut price option though. For those who don't quite have the funds to spend up on an outright keeper, if you don't have Stewart, Sicily, or Dawson, he probably is. This is the last week I'd say that you can grab him at below 500K if you are keen. However, keep in mind that he does have the round 14 bye. I've seen enough that I think he could be back, and I'm ready to be hurt again, as I said at the start of the season when I picked him. But I'm not ready to be hurt again. Sorry, Ridley.
Yeah, is it? I was going to say, is it worth the hurt?
No,
well, worth the double hurt. I think at this stage of the year as well, like compared to the start of the year, and it's like, okay, well, you trade him in, you got 30 odd trades that you can use to just trade him straight back out again. At this point of the year, where we're dwindling, we're down to like a third of the trades that we had at the start of the year. It's like the value on trades at this point of the year is much, much higher. So if he does have a change in role again, and he reverts back to his poor scoring, geez, it's going to hurt more, I reckon. Yeah,
I do agree. I probably wouldn't. I mean, I don't mind people targeting him. I think he's shown enough now, 3 weeks in a row.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Just slightly concerned. And I think the positive, not really. They had Larky and they had Larky, Zerha, and what's his face? Coleman Jones. So they had a relatively tall forward line compared to recent weeks. But yeah, I guess Mackay and Kerno this week could be a different role for Ridley as well. Might need to play more. I don't think he'll be in the lockdown, but might have to play a little bit more accountably to help out with the side. But let's move on to the players on the bubble, Damon.
On the bubble, indeed. And looking at this list, there really isn't much. And that's kind of an indication of the time of year because all the quality rookies are gone. But first up, we have Lachlan McAndrew, ruck forward, priced at 123.9K, averaging, what is he averaging actually? So he scored a 53 in his first game and a 23 against Carlton. So
averaging 38.
Yeah. So not going too well.
It's above his break even though.
What's that?
It's above his break even.
Oh, that's true. So you're looking at the silver linings there. That's
there we go.
Yeah. But of course, part of that bad score against Carlton was partly due to the fact that he only played 42% time on ground and was relegated to backup ruck duties to the returning Hickey. Job security-wise, though, given Hickey's injury, we can only assume the Swans will want to keep playing a second ruckman to manage his workload. The question is whether, though, McAndrew, does he fill that role? And if so, how long will they persist with a secondary ruckman?
Yeah, especially, I think Amati's not too far off the top of my head.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that. Just
and
probably a little bit more mobile. A little bit more forward. We could potentially play more as a forward, like and pinch it in the ruck.
Yep. Amati's 2 to 4 weeks away with the hamstring.
Okay, so yeah,
that was of last week, so that's still yet to be updated, which will be tomorrow. But yeah, interesting. It still gives me the heebie-jeebies, I reckon, especially with such a low score. And if you're struggling for that sort of score with, I guess it was 42% time ago, but even then, extrapolate that out, and it's, I think he's scoring 40 odd. It's like that's not good. It's not good at all.
No, I would be avoiding if I was an owner, someone looking at him. I don't think it's worth it. I am avoiding. Just that's it. I don't even understand. I'm not an owner. I'm not going for him.
Yeah, you're looking elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, look at elsewhere. I can't find anything because there's nothing that exists. It's a bloody mirage. Yeah. The other player on the bubble was it? I assume you're the same, Damon.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I was looking at him prior to the game against Carlton. He actually looked all right when we saw him live against North.
Yeah. Although there was a few fresh areas in the ruck, I have to admit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I was willing to look past them because I saw his price
what
point
was happening. Yeah.
And the fact that Laddams went down, and I thought, oh yeah, I was rubbing together my hands and my trotters, channeling my inner pink sweaty pig. But yeah, not to be. I don't think I'll be looking at him this week. You need security from rookies at this stage of the year, and he just doesn't provide it. Coming out of the buys, people probably think, you need the rookies for cover across the buys, but obviously when trades are dwindling, we don't want to be using trades for just single week or 2 week absences from our keepers. We want to rely upon these guys off the bench.
I'd rather not trade than trade him in. Like, I'd rather get I know it sounds terrible. I don't mean it this way, but I'd almost rather have a donut than have him in my side at this stage. Purely just because I think the trade's not worth it. It's not going to help you all that much. Going forward, I don't think. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be useful for this guy either. Josh Fay, mid-eligible for the Giants, 123.9k, averaging 12 with a break-even of 48, and he has to round 15 by. Bloody hell. He has unfortunately found himself as the sub for both of his first 2 games, which is why his scores read as 7 and 17. Poor bloke. The big blow here is that his break-even is already 48, meaning if he is the sub again, chances are his price will actually drop, much like we saw with Michael Johnson and Matty Roberts. Scoring aside, his job security isn't even guaranteed, given he's been a sub in both of his first 2 games. It could be good in the long run for us, though. He could come down to 113k or something, and we can get him in when he gets an actual proper game. But Damon, rookies on the horizon.
Yes, rookies on the horizon. We do have a few here. One of which is on the bye this week. It is the Sauce, Oisin Sauce. I have now clarified. I had some clarification. It's pronounced Ocean.
Ocean.
Ocean Mullen.
Ocean.
I much prefer Oisin. We're going to say much like what, as in getting on your yacht, sailing out onto the ocean, throwing the key into the water, as Abs Magic would say, when you're locking someone in. Not your yacht, of course. You have to hire a yacht.
Yes.
Or you save up enough money to buy a yacht in order to go out
and throw a key in the water.
Yeah, and then if you want to get a scuba gear on, onto the ocean, whilst enjoying some wontons with some Oisin sauce. But it is anyway. Oisin Mullen, I'm going to stick with that. As a defender, 102.4k. Whilst he has actually looked pretty good, I must admit, like he looks pretty flashy. He's got that, the classic Irishman swagger about him. He's got the beautiful ball hand. And I think behind like Indigenous players who just know how to kick goals, don't even need to look. They've got like that sixth sense. I reckon the Irish are very, very similar. Like their next rung down. Yeah. And it's just like their footwork, their ball handling skills, elite. And that's obviously why the Cats rate him so highly. But it's probably a good time anyway to assess his longer term security in the side, because going into the bye, we now want to see coming out of the bye if he's actually kept in the side and named in the team. So
because there's quite a few players that have come back in for the Cats as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we've also got Lewis Malikan for the Swans defender.
Pelican.
Yeah, the Pelican, 172.3k, and Josh Sin, mid-forward eligible from Port Adelaide, 123.9k. They're on the horizon. Hopefully we can have some good rookies coming in. And I mean, there's obviously the mid-season draft. That was there was some plenty of juicy score prices there. Hopefully we can see some of them get a debut and we can get them in to our sides.
There's actually another guy who was actually taken first pick by West Coast, whose name also will be very contentious. Not as contentious as Oisin Sauce or Ocean, but it is Marich, but he likes his name pronounced as Marek. Have a look. I think West Coast put up the video. Oh no, it wouldn't have been because it was prior to the draft. I think it was some of the news outlets that were doing it, and he was clarifying the pronunciation of his name, and he was like, even though my dad prefers marriage, I prefer Marek. So he's just gone against his dad and like his family. But like, I want it pronounced as this. Classic.
Love it.
But anyway, Liam, if you were to jump onto a yacht and sail out onto the ocean whilst enjoying some wontons or dumplings with some Oisin sauce, who would be sailing on said yacht?
Not me this round.
No, not you. And who would it be and what would they be saying?
I don't know, Damon. What would you be saying?
Hold on one second.
As the owner of said yacht.
I forgot to prep my hat, which is in the background, which you can see me there scurrying across if you're watching us on the vodcast.
This is what you need. This is what you need.
It's part of the reason why you tune into the vodcast, and you miss out when you
The
tune into the
calamities.
podcast. Yeah, the calamities of this. So it is, Liam. I'm the captain now. Where's my oisin sauce?
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Well, in I'm the captain now, we chat about what VCNC options you've got for the
Yes.
upcoming round of SuperCoach. As always, we've scrounged through the data and found the best options for you to consider. I tried to do, by the way, the captain's hat on my good old mulligan here on my head, and I tried to do. I don't know if you've seen it, but Robbo from AFL 360, he wears glasses now, and he had them on perched on the top of his head, and he did the old trick, when he did like your eyebrows.
Oh, yeah.
And he was doing that, and it was like working its way down. I was trying to do that with a hat.
Good old Robbo.
Yeah.
Let's jump into some VC options, and we'll kick off on Thursday night. Thursday night game is back, 7:20 SCG. Sydney versus St Kilda. I love a good Thursday night game.
Good.
Errol Goulden, my boy.
Yeah.
He has an average of just 69.3 in his last 3 games against the Saints. Scores of 71, 74, and 63. But he's averaging 115.4 at the SCG this year. And to St Kilda give away the most points to wingers and third most points to inside mids. I'm
sorry, I thought you threw me because you're like 69.3. It was like, is that a dinner for two reference that you just like?
No, I just was like, why we got him here?
Yeah, why we got him here. Meanwhile, I'm just thinking of dinner for two, and you go, don't mind me. Keep going. I'm with the show.
That's it. That is all I have to say about it.
That's literally it. Okay. Well, Errol, the main takeaway from that is dinner for two. So moving on to Rowan Marshall, has an average of 108.25 in his last 4 games against the Swans with scores of 156, 64, 123 and a 90, but comes into this game with 3 of his last 5 games at 126 plus. So a bit of form line behind good old Romo there.
Yep. And in the same game, we have Jack Sinclair. He's an average of 99.25 in his last 4 games against the Swannies with scores of 118, 79, 99, and 102. And the Swans give away the second most points to opposition defenders. So could be a nice little VC for you there.
I like it. But even though he'd be very much a pod because his form line's been up and down. That's up and down in whistle form. Moving on to the next game, it is the Western Bulldogs up against Port Adelaide on Friday at 7:50 at Marvel Stadium. And Tim English here stands out as a big option. Has an average of 88 in his 4 games against the Power with scores of 139, 49, 93, and 71, but comes into this game with a 3-round average to blow that out of the park with 126.3. And Port give away the 4th most points to ruck. So nice little matchup exploitation there if you choose to whack the old VC on him.
Now, I mean, there are some other options there in the way of Bont and
Butters potentially as
Butters,
well.
yeah, Butters and Rosie. But like looking at the matchup, exploitation, it doesn't look as strong with Western Bulldogs giving away the 4th least points to opposition inside mids. And likewise, Port giving away the least points to opposition inside mids. So, yeah, I mean, you could definitely try it. Would be no harm if you're VCing, but just, yeah, I guess that's why we've excluded them from this list in favour of some other options.
Perfect. Well, next up we have Hawthorn up against Brisbane on Saturday at 1:45 p.m. at the MCG. And first up, we have Lockie Neal, and has an average of 111.75 in his 4 games against the Hawks with scores of 100, 70, 157, and 120. And Hawthorn, just to drive that home, give away the 2nd most points to inside mids. So could be a nice day out for Neil. But also, likewise, a nice day out for this next guy, Liam.
Yeah, Josh Dunkley, his teammate. He's an average of 103.5 in his last 4 against the Hawks, obviously with the Bulldogs, with scores of 110, 127, 61, and 116. And he comes into the game with 3 of his last 4 scores above 146.
This is making it so hard to choose who the B, C, and C is this week. These are all quality. I mean, there were some weeks prior to this one where we were like, okay, none of the people that we read out actually had any favorable matchups and just go on form line. That was virtually it. But this is like combinations of, it's just insanity. But let's round it out with the VC options with the game between Adelaide against West Coast on Saturday at 4:35 p.m. at Adelaide Oval, just to again boot this baby home. Rory Laird has an average of 126.25 in his last 4 games against the Eagles with scores of 136, 145, 120, and a 104. And the Eagles give away the most points to inside mid. So just to throw another cat amongst the pigeons here.
And I've also got Jordan Dawson. He's only got an average of 95 in his last 4 against the Eagles, though. Scores of 106, 108, 105, and 61. So pretty consistent score lines there, except for that 61. But it is the Eagles, so Dawson could be in for a big one.
Yeah, and just on Dawson as well, I've been looking at him because I've been having a bit of a sneak peek when I was going through my Damo's Team Talk segment, and he's actually got some favourable scoring, much like Ashcroft when he's played at Adelaide Oval. He's had score lines of 110, 114, 173, 152, a 150, 89, and a 120. So pretty much all those, apart from the couple of early games, but he's had some really, really big ceiling games, So could this potentially be another one?
Yes.
Who knows?
Nice. Now let's move on to some captaincy options, Damon.
So first up, we have my mob against your mob, Carlton v Essendon on Sunday at 7:25 p.m. at the MCG. And we have Zachary Merritt, who averages 90 in his last 4 games against the Blues with scores of 90, 107, 78, and 85. But he's coming off 310 plus scores of 162, 110, and 137. And with Shield set to miss yet again, he could be in for a nice, big, juicy old score.
We get tagged too, I guess.
Yeah, potentially. Ed Kerno won't come back in. There's no chance. Hewitt's still out.
Yeah, true. I've got a Hewitt.
Cottrell maybe could do a run with roll. I think they had Kennedy on the weekend. He was trying to do a bit of a run with roll with Petrarca, which
didn't help.
Did nothing. So yeah, different sort of player with Merritt anyway. I don't think he could keep up with him.
Yep. Let's hope for that because I need a good score. Let's look at the last game of the round. Melbourne up against Collingwood Monday at 3:20 p.m. MCG. Big freeze on King's birthday clash. First King's birthday in a very long time. Very long time. Just how many getting used to it. Feels weird.
Years?
Feels weird saying it.
Yeah, King's birthday.
King's birthday.
Yeah.
But we've got a couple options here. Maxi Gawn for those owners out there. He's got an average of 120.5 in his last 4 against the Pies with scores of 136, 70, 123, and 153. So it could be a little bit of an exploitation to the matchup exploitation there for you.
Yeah, it's very nice. And we also have the track Christian Petrarca, averages 114 in his last 4 games against the Pies with scores of 99, 136, a 96, and a 125.
And we saw the big score from him on the weekend as well. What was it, 159?
9, yeah.
Yeah, so big one from him. So in some nice form. And we, of course, have Nick Dacos, as always. He's played Melbourne twice for scores of 112 and 129 and an average of 120.5. So, I mean, again, he's absolutely flying. So it could be one to pick in your absolute last game of the round on a Monday.
And if you're brave enough, it could turn from the King's birthday into the Pig's birthday if he returns in form with the form line that reads historically against the Pies 141, a 152, 108, and a 137 in his past 4. So I don't know if I'd be if I was the owner, proud owner. Hopefully I will be in a couple of weeks, but of him, I wouldn't be as confident to put the outright C on him, which you'd need to do obviously in the last game of the round. I imagine the Ds, if they're smart enough, will try and manage him maybe in game, maybe play him a bit more up forward or just extra minutes, extra rotations.
It could also
off the
be a
bench.
sub. Yeah.
Could be a sub. That's right. Yeah.
Like subbed off is what I mean. He won't start as the sub. Yeah.
Imagine that. Jeez, what a super sub that would be. A minute into the game. Oh my God, we're stuffed up. Get him on.
Yeah.
Waste our sub. One to sort of note.
Yeah,
anyway
could be
those people.
Could be a bit of a like Hail Mary if you were down.
That's true.
Just I don't know, throw everything at it. Could be a bit of a risk, but could be one that pays off.
Throw the pig at it.
Yes.
That's the way to do it.
Get some pig juice in you. Now let's jump into the captaincy head-to-head, Damon.
Get it right up. Yeah, we had a little head-to-head within our captaincy head-to-head, which you kind of kicked off by opting to take my boy Walshy, whilst I went for track. And as I predicted, he went absolutely bananas, which I said, I'm like, he's going to go bananas against us, against my shoddy, fraudulent football side. But to the tune of 159 points, I didn't see that coming at all. Like my crystal ball, it said, yes, he was going to go bananas. I saw a big bunch of bananas. I didn't see 159 points. So he exceeded expectations there. But nonetheless, it gave me the chocolates.
A big win considering I went for Walsh, who scored 72. Your boys let me down.
Sabotage. That's what it was. I'll stick by that.
Now, right. You've got the first pick. Who's it going to be?
Okay. I don't even know who I'm going.
Sorry. That was a noise.
That was a noise of just frustration because I don't want to pick. This is like the 1 week where I want to pick second. I feel like the pressure's on because there's so many options. Like just looking at my side alone, I want to pick
You're always
going
to have that. Yeah. I feel like you're going to have regret because it's like whoever you pick, you've got pick of anyone and I'll be like, oh, I'll take this one. And you'll be like, oh shit, I wish I picked that person. That.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like, I'm like, I get to choose whoever you don't choose, basically.
Yeah.
It's easier for me.
So like, I want to go for Dawson. I want to go for Laird. I want to go for English. I want to go for Dunks and I want to go for Neil. That narrows it down to about 5.
Flip a coin.
I'll flip a 5-sided coin. That'll do. Back in my day, used to wear an onion on my belt. Well, this, I reckon, you know what? Stuff it. I'm going to back in English. The new recruit, boom recruit. I reckon he's going to go back to back because he's done it before historically as well. Like early days in the season, he was punching out 130 plus scores. In fact, he did it across the first 6 weeks. So I reckon he could do it again up against Port Adelaide. It's going to be a tough matchup though, quality matchup. And it's going to come back to bite me, but that's all right. That's okay. I'll stick with, because he'll probably be my VC. So I'm going to go for him. VC into the C, outright English. What about you, Liam?
I am not sure. I'm actually really not sure. It's hard. I'm not sure how does
this is the hardest week.
Yeah, it's a hard week because there's so many good options.
Yeah.
How does old mate go at MCG? Yeah, okay. Oh, I am gonna go Rory Laird.
Oh,
Rory
yep,
Laird.
he was my second option.
I wanted to go Dunks, but it's hard to tell. I forgot that game was at the MCG. If it was at the Gabba,
yep,
I'd feel more confident. But at the G, it changes it. Whereas I think Laird at Adelaide Oval against the Eagles should be an easy one for him.
Yep, I like it. I like it a lot. Well, just in terms of our head-to-head. So, of course, Petrarca 159. You chose the Walshy, with 72, and that puts me ahead. Is this the first time all season I've been ahead in our captaincy head-to-head? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you won the first. I think you won the first one though.
Oh, did I? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's a midpoint. So I'm up 6 wins to your 5, and the total is courtesy
102.
of track anyway. It's 102 deficit. Yeah. So that's it. That is that.
That's that. That's done for the season now.
It's done for the season. Don't be like you can easily.
No, I'm gonna heckle myself.
Don't be silly.
I'm going to heckle myself. Silly. Oh, of course you picked Laird.
Of course you'd pick Laird. Oh, God. No, from here on out, it's going to be... I reckon having the second pick as well, there's less pressure
Yeah.
I'd like to go back as well and work out where I've had my wins and where you've had your captaincy wins. Like if it's been like, because you would think having the first choice is a good thing, but I wonder.
I don't think it's as good as, I think you overthink the first choice. Yeah.
So maybe that's one for next week to have a look into, and I'll come back with some numbers and see what the percentile chance of winning is based upon having the first or second
expected score versus expected.
Yeah, like SuperCoach Plus.
Yeah. I also I reckon there was a couple of weeks where I started to try and play too smart. Like, I'll pick this player for this week because I want to save him for next week, and then.
Oh yes, I haven't even thought of that at all.
Yeah, I did that one a couple of weeks, and I think that was my undoing.
You might have done it for Clary, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there was 1 week. Anyway, let's move on.
So, Liam, before we wrap things up, let's run through our SuperCoach Edge Cup group results after round 12.
Yes, our SuperCoach Edge Cup public group. Oh no, has a new leader.
It does indeed.
Oh,
Who is it?
Rehab Collingwood. He's been dethroned by Venomous Villains.
Ooh.
He had a round score of 1,970. He sits 84th overall with a total score of 27,326. Wow. And the top scorer for the round was Jeremy with his team Chasers Bulldogs. Round score of 2,156 with a round rank of 21.
Oh, wow. Well done. Gee whiz.
Very big
Changes
score
across
there.
The board there. And yes, delightfully devilish. Looking at that team name, I just immediately thought of delightfully devilish Seymour. Venomous Villains. Delightfully devilish. Well, very nice across the board there, really. To dethrone the long-standing king, leading into King's birthday, and it is a pies man. I know that for a fact, and of course the team name gives it away, Colin Good. But yeah, big effort there by Venomous Villains. So moving on to the Patreon exclusive group, and the leader is, no surprises here, T of Prostitutes Inc., aka Jonas Goat, yet again. And he also did the double by taking out the weekly.
Ooh,
so his round
nice.
score was 2014, so nice score there. Total score of 27,230 with an overall rank. He's now gone into 161st overall.
Keep going. Keep going, Jonas.
Go to the moon.
And in terms of our Patreon exclusive SuperCoach Edge Cash League, the results looked something. No, it didn't look something like this. They just looked like this. Damon, DJ Trade-A-Lot, you were defeated by Popperball FC Dylan, who by 89 points, 1906 to 1995. Scott Arthur, Black on White, he defeated Matthew, Ton 618, 1829 to 1717. I was defeated by Sharpshooters on top of the ladder by 1700 to 1943, and Peter Tankers, he defeated Carps Crushers 1891 to 1821.
Very
now,
nice.
Damon, do you want to take us through the ladder?
Yes, and before I do so, our league ranking is 12th of 1,167.
Very
so
good.
Well done to the crew here of the SuperCoach Edge Patreon Cashy. So top of the table, as you mentioned, is Sharpshooters. He's on 9 wins, and he's won 4 of his last 5. I am second on the table, DJ Trade-A-Lot. I've won 8 games, 4 wins of his past 5. I love how I speak about myself in the third person. Apologies for that. In third spot, we have Ton 618 Matthew, 5 wins. Carps Crushers, 5 wins. And Black on White come in 5th spot. Again, 5 wins, but separation here on points scored overall. Tankers in 6th spot on 5 wins. Liam, you come in at 7th with 4 wins. And Popperball FC comes in 8th spot with 3 wins. And Liam, that brings us to the end of the show. But before we go, where can our listeners find us across our socials?
Yes, on YouTube, you can search SuperCoach Edge. You can watch us. You can see the true inner workings of, I don't know.
I love how you said you can watch us. It's like someone's just like looking through the window. Yeah.
You just say it
You
before.
can watch us. Yeah,
They
you can watch us. And you can watch us. You can watch us through our windows whilst we're watching ourselves on repeat. I don't know why we do that, but you can watch us
Inception.
twice over.
Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe though. On Twitter, you'll find us at @supercoach_edge, David at DamonJ88, myself at Liam Evans _95, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Be Real, Weibo, Supercoach Edge. Search that. You'll find us there.
RedTube.
Yeah.
Yes, as always, if you love the content that we provide, make sure to let us know by subscribing to our YouTube channel, not RedTube, and help us in our pursuit of hitting 1K by the end of the season. So thumbs up, prayers up in advance for those that do so. So thank you. But that is it for another episode. So thanks as always for tuning in. All the very best for the round ahead, which is of course the second bye round. And we'll catch you same time, same place. We'll see you then.
See you guys.